If you have 1,000 products in stock and you have 20 bestsellers, you gotta make sure that those bestsellers are as close to your ship station as possible. Hello everybody, welcome to Surge. This week we will talk about something really exciting, and that is warehouse setup and warehouse optimization. Now, we usually talk about the front end side of things in e-commerce, which involves a platform, how you get orders, marketing, the different types of functionalities to increase conversion rates. But we rarely speak about the things that we do at Optimum 7 that is at the back end side of things, which has to do with warehousing, operations, supply chain, etc., etc. Now, we have clients who do $8, $9, $10 million, $20 million in revenue, which means that they're shipping on a daily basis anywhere from 500 to 10,000 packages daily. When you get to that kind of volume, you have to have a more professional setup. And this week we will talk about what that setup looks like. So Joe, first thing is first, if you go to Google and if you search for warehouse setup consultation, warehouse setup experts, warehouse setup companies, you get a bunch of results for companies that actually can help you set up your warehouse, but they know nothing about your front end, your technology, where the orders are coming from, inventory management system, etc., etc. Tell me about the issues that we've heard from clients in your experience that affect us from doing marketing or doing the front end technology. Like if a client is not scalable, how does that affect us in terms of being able to scale the business?
Yeah. So I would say the biggest issue that I've seen that we've encountered is that clients will go out and make this decision of what inventory management system to use or what warehouse management system to use without consulting an expert first, right? Without consulting someone who has set up a back-end operation for an e-commerce store, how everything should flow. They just go out and make their own decision based off of what a sales rep kind of explained to them from one of these companies. So that's the biggest issue that we've seen.
Got it. And what that does is that affects scalability. So we are expected as Optimum 7 to deal with technology issues, deal with marketing issues, and scale the business. Clients come to us and they say, we're doing 5 million. We want to do 10 million in 2 years. What do we need to do on the front end? Now, most of the time, we'll do what we need to do on the front end, and in the back end, they will choke. So if I take somebody from 500 orders a day to 2,000 orders a day, now they're going to have the following problems. They don't have the warehouse set up. They don't have enough ship stations. They don't have the rules and automations to be able to handle that kind of volume. And they're going to need 10 people in their warehouse to pick and ship these orders instead of 2 people because their system is not efficient. So if you're doing over $2 million in revenue and you are growing and you handle your own fulfillment, sooner or later, you're going to have this conversation of warehouse setup. Okay? And this is what we're talking about today. When it comes to warehouse setup, you have to have a warehouse that's set up to receive your POs, your purchase orders from your suppliers or from your manufacturers in a fashion where it's optimized, and you have to have your locations and your racks in terms of your order volume. What that means is if you have 1,000 products in stock and you have 20 bestsellers, you got to make sure that those bestsellers are as close to your ship station as possible. And there's a way to lay this out. When we do this kind of consulting, we basically ask them for a floor plan before they even start their warehouse or start managing their warehouse. And we will help them optimize this floor plan in a manner where it is directly related to their bestsellers and the fastest, most efficient way to pick and ship that product as soon as possible with the least amount of employees or warehouse employees possible. And there are a couple of formulas and workflows that we use for this, but this is the core issue that a lot of scaling e-commerce businesses have, is they don't have any idea on what they should do. The second thing is about pick guns and the systems that you install in the warehouse. The first thing is the layout of the warehouse. The second thing is how you actually pick and ship these items. There are a lot of rules that need to happen. For example, if 90% of your orders are less than 1 pound, or maybe half a pound, what you want to do is you want to set up rules that they auto print, they batch print. If you're not batch printing, you're wasting a lot of time. If you're not using pick guns, Your employees are going to make mistakes in terms of which product they're picking. You're going to get negative reviews. You're going to get more customer support requests. That's going to decrease your profitability, right? Efficient warehouse, efficient operations and shipping means more profitability. So when it comes to the types of technologies that we've implemented, Joe, for e-commerce businesses, tell me about the inventory management systems and the channel managers, because you've personally dealt with some issues. Tell me how that relates to the warehouse operations and what kind of issues we have seen before.
Yeah, so the issues that we've seen before, and this is typically an issue that you always see whenever you're trying to integrate tons of different third-party technologies, right? They don't necessarily communicate with each other in the way that will best suit your business. So that's the biggest issue is the communication between these platforms. A lot of times I would say you should really be choosing one or the other, whether it be a channel manager or a warehouse inventory management system, just because of the fact that they don't get along very well with one another. So from an inventory management system, what you want out of that is essentially you want this to streamline your inventory from your POs when you're receiving, pushing that data to your website when orders get placed, relay that information back to your inventory system, and then to any other third-party marketplace that you might be selling on. So that's essentially what you want out of a channel manager or a inventory management system. And now if you have both, you essentially have two systems trying to do the same thing, and it typically doesn't end well.
Yeah. So there are a lot of issues, again, when you're working with inventory management systems. Right now, one of the biggest issues for people who are scaling is there's a delay in reducing quantities and translating that information to different third parties. If you're using one inventory management system and then you sell on your website, you sell on Amazon, you sell on Overstock, Wayfair, you have B2B operation, then you have custom orders, all of this inventory you're holding needs to be allocated in an accurate manner. And unfortunately, there's a delay of 2 minutes to 5 minutes with most inventory management systems, where that quantity that you sold 60 seconds ago does not reflect. Now, if you are selling a lot, if your volume is high, and you have the types of products that you have, maybe some of them you have 5 or 10 in quantity, you don't have hundreds and thousands, then you run into a problem of overselling, you run into a problem of not having it in stock, not displaying it properly. Because as much as you want to do this, the stocks are usually not real time. Everybody wants to have real time inventory management system. You know who has it? Amazon has it, Walmart has it, because these cost hundreds of millions of dollars. And as small business, you don't have access to that technology. So this is what we see happening. There are ways to fix these issues with third-party integrations, adding more functionality and technology into what you're doing, and basically building workflows around your operation. If you sell apparel and you have to customize 50% of the orders because you have to do an embroidery on this apparel, like Teespring, you have to have a different warehouse operation than if you sell a set product that's never going to be customized. And this is what people are not doing.
If you're selling a customized product, regardless of what type of product it is, your warehouse operation needs to be at least 10 times more efficient than an e-commerce store that is not selling a customized product. So that just goes to show you the level of organization and the level of technology that you're going to need if you want to get into the customized product space.
At Optimum 7, we've consulted multiple companies around warehouse setup and efficiency. If you have any questions, let us know. We'll be happy to guide you in the right direction. We'll speak to you guys next week.